Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Alba here, coming back at you, part 44 of what if Naruto was like Minato, otherwise known as Return of the Flash on Wattpad. If you want to read the story for yourself, the link in the description will bring you there. Other links in the description will bring you to the Discord and Instagram. If you want to hit me up or have any suggestions or anything like that you would like to do or make, do so on Discord specifically. The Instagram link's a little bit for show right now because I just lost that account, so gonna have to make a new one. And also like, comment, and subscribe. I respond to all comments, heart all comments, like all comments when I see them. I genuinely appreciate them. We're on the road to 3,000. We're almost at 2,200. So I would appreciate it if you're watching this video and you're new, that you would subscribe. That would mean a lot to me, and I genuinely appreciate it. And also, I hope you enjoy the other videos on the channel. So with all that out of the way, and without further ado, let's cue the intro, please. Alright, so with all that fun stuff out of the way, without further delay, let's hop right on into the video. The next day found Naruto and Tsunade standing at the west gate of the village. Hiruzen was standing next to them as well. Naruto had to hand it to him. He was the oldest living Kage alive who was now enjoying retirement. Hiruzen said that he was now more of a call-on advisor to Tsunade, and if she ever needed help dealing with more difficult matters. We've been standing here for almost 20 minutes, Hokage Sama, Naruto said in boredom. Are you sure we aren't early? Tsunade twitched beside him. Even she was starting to get a bit impatient. She was never one for tardiness. Maybe they ran into an obstacle on the way. Hiruzen laughed at seeing the interaction between both the blondes. It was quite entertaining. Anyway, I have something I need to talk to you and the pervy sage about. The serious tone in his voice caused Tsunade to raise an eyebrow in surprise. What could be so serious that he needed her and Jiraiya's opinion on? Even Hiruzen was curious, but Naruto gave him an apologetic look. Sorry, Gigi, but I can't tell you because I need their professional opinion as a medical specialist and seal master. Hiruzen nodded in realization that would explain him being left out. The three stood standing for 10 more minutes when Naruto announced they're coming, although for some reason they're moving painfully slow. Tsunade looked at him in confusion. How the hell do you know that? Naruto just gave her a look as if it was painfully obvious. I'm a censor. Didn't the pervy sage tell you? Tsunade grit her teeth. I'm really gonna drill that pervert on these things when he left out when telling me about you. Anyway, be careful of how you speak with the Suna Shinobi. We need to make a good first impression. Naruto smirked as he stared at the road ahead. I think I already made a first impression. Not sure if it's good or not. On the other end, the entourage from Sand was relieved as a whole when the gate of Konoha came into view. As tradition said, the bride had to be escorted in a palanquin? I don't know what it's called, bruh. The thing where the people carry it, I don't know. Tamara was grumbling about her leg being cramped from sitting up there for too long. She was not a delicate princess who needed to be pampered. She was a chunin of her village. Her thoughts took a melancholic turn as she looked at her reflection in one of the side mirrors. From tomorrow, she was no longer going to be a shinobi of Suna, but rather of Konoha. She had been proud of wearing her village's headband, but no more. She would have to wear another village's. Proud, that's yet to be seen. Tamari. The call startled her out of her thoughts. She turned her head to see Gaara poking his head inside, a usual frown on his face. She sadly smiled. She was still getting used to Gaara showing concern for her. What is it, Gaara? Are you alright? The question was so out of it, coming from him, and yet Tamari found it adorably cute. She smiled slightly as she held her brother's hand. He didn't flinch. I will be, Gaara, don't worry. Gaara looked extremely unsure of what to say next. For someone who had minimal social contact, that was to be expected. However, his next words were so sure that it caught Tamari off guard. Naruto will take good care of you, Tamari. He's the only one I trust to protect you. It still astounded Tamari and Kankuro just how high Gaara held Naruto. Then again, Naruto single-handedly turned Gaara's life around. So it was understandable. But putting so much trust into one person was simply mind-blowing. Thank you, Gara. Wow. The quiet exclamation from Kankuro caught Tamari's attention as she frowned. What is it, Kankuro? Both the former and current Hokage are here to meet and here to greet us, along with your fiancé. The entourage reached the gates finally. Tamari got out of the palanquin. How the hell do you pronounce that, bro? My bad. Let me... Palanquin? Pronunciation. Yeah. How do you pronounce that? Palanquin. It's not plank. Palanquin. Palanquin? Palanquin? Yeah, listen. Wait. Turn this up.
Palanquin.
Palanquin. There you go. The palanquin. And came face to face with a very busty blonde woman, alongside the goddess Shinobi and her fiancé. Her heart skipped a beat on seeing him give a small smile in her direction, but she steeled herself. Time for talking with him would come later. She bowed to the woman. Hokage-sama, it is an honor to meet you, as well as Sandaime-sama. Tsunade was formal in her reply as well. It is a pleasure to formally meet you. I'm Tsunade Senju, the Godaime Hokage of Konoha no Sato. Naruto eyed Tamari appreciatively. She had changed her outfit to a long-sleeve purple blouse under a gray top, a dark blue skirt that reached her mid-thigh, showing off her legs, and a longer slash than the previous one. Oh, hell no. She carried her fan the same way as she did before, and tucked it into her bow. Before Naruto could greet Tamari, all talking stopped suddenly when Gaara stepped forward. Walking so was standing directly in front of Naruto. Naruto faced the redhead with a genuine smile, waiting for him to say whatever he wanted. However, it became clear to Naruto when the silence stretched into awkwardness that Gaara was still learning on how to interpret social cues. So Naruto initiated the conversation. How have you been, Gaara? I've been well, Uzumaki Naruto. However, I have a request to make of you. Naruto didn't even need to read minds to know what request Gaara needed to make. He put his hand on the redhead's shoulder, ignoring the gasps from some of the Suna shinobi. I promise that I will protect Tamari with my life, Gaara. This is a promise of a lifetime. That seemed to ease some tensions from Gaara's shoulder. His next words were heartfelt. Thank you, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto patted Gaara's shoulder once more. Friends call each other by first names, Gaara. Just Naruto will suffice. Everyone was watching their interaction with different thoughts. The shinobi from Suna, except for Baki, seemed amazed that Naruto had talked to Gaara without showing an ounce of fear. And more, considered him a dear friend. Tsunade and Hiruzen were smiling, proud of Naruto's actions. They knew how tough a Jinchuriki's life was. Gaara's more so than Naruto's, but it was very mature of him to actively break the ice with Gaara when no one wanted to. Tamari was giving a thankful smile to her soon-to-be husband, with Kankuro's being more hidden. However, the puppet fighter didn't know why he automatically straightened up when Naruto glanced at him. He gulped when he saw the blonde approaching in his direction with a smirk on his face. He didn't see Tamari's amused expression when Naruto stood in front of him, staring him down. Naruto was almost 5'5", while Kankuro was slow in the growing department, and as such stood at 4'11". Damn, that's such. Nah, ain't no way. We're almost... I mean, I know it was a 3-year time skip, but, bro, there's no... How tall was Naruto in season 1? Naruto was... He was 4'9" and 5'5". He didn't even reach 6 foot. Damn, that's disappointing. Alright, yeah, I guess 5'5" is cool. Alright, whatever. So Naruto practically towered over him. Kankuro could feel sweat forming on his brow, but refused to break eye contact with the taller shinobi. Naruto then leaned forward so that his mouth was next to Kankuro's ear. You better do something about your makeup. It easily gives away your nervous sweat. Kankuro's eyebrows shot up in surprise. He didn't expect this, of all things, to come out of his soon-to-be brother-in-law. He didn't even know what to say, but Naruto had already moved on. Naruto stood in front of Tamari, fighting the impulse to hug her right there and then. It would look very out of place, not to mention suspicious to those who didn't know of their earlier interactions. Instead, he greeted her warmly. Welcome to Konoha, Tamari. Tamari smiled and greeted back. I accept your welcoming, Naruto-san. Sorry about that. For you guys, it was probably like a 3-second wait, but for me, it was like 2, 3, 4 hours. So, yeah, without further ado, and I apologize if I'm like ahead of where we were or behind a little bit. Without further ado, let's just hop right on back into the video. Apparently, she was more aware of the protocol and ways of conversation that were to be followed in this context. That was to be expected of the eldest daughter of the Kazekage, though. It was then that Tsunade stepped back into the conversation. Now that the greetings are over, please follow me. I will make your arrangements for staying in our village. However, Naruto interjected. Hokage-sama, if it's not too much trouble, I can take Tamari and her siblings with me to my home. They can stay with me. I have more than enough room. Tsunade gave it a moment of thought and then agreed. It would give Naruto and Tamari time to talk out whatever issues they have as well as catch up. It would prove a good bonding time between Naruto and Tamari's brothers. Alright, you can take them with you, but report to me early tomorrow for Tamari's initiation. Naruto beamed in her direction and put up each of his hands around Gaara and Tamari, pulling them into his sides. He turned to face her and gave his most charming smile. By your leave, Hokage-sama. He then flashed out of there, leaving a blinking and confused Kankura in front of an equally confused Tsunade. A few moments later, Naruto flashed back, grabbed Kankura by his shoulder, and then flashed away again. All the people left there blinked at the unusual happenings, not knowing what sense to make out of it. Tsunade snapped out of her confusion when Hiruzen chuckled beside her at Naruto's antics. She turned to the rest of the Suna shinobi. The rest of you follow me, please. I'll show you to your staying arrangements. Naruto peered in it, with Gaara and Tamari right outside the gates that led into his house. Both of them blinked at the sudden travel, after which their minds caught up, followed by their bodies. Tamari immediately turned and glared at a smirking Naruto, while Gaara deadpanned at him. A warning would have been nice, you know. She almost growled at him. Naruto sheepishly rubbed the back of his head and chuckled. Sorry about that, said Tsunade. And chuckled. It was the first time someone ever complained about instantaneous travel. Don't ever do that again. Gaara said in his deadpan. Naruto rose an eyebrow in return. You mean to say you don't like traveling from one place to another in an instant? The narrowing of his eyes was the only answer that Gaara gave, but Naruto refrained from smirking in his silent victory at the argument. It was then that Tamari spoke up. Wait, where's Kankuro? Naruto's eyes widened for a second before he disappeared in a flash, returning instantly with the aforementioned person. The puppet fighter turned and indignantly pointed a finger at Naruto. You forgot about me! My bad, Naruto shrugged. He then walked up to the gate, pressed his hand to let the seals recognize his chakra. The seals glowed and the gate opened up, giving everyone a view of the house inside. Gaara was impassive as ever, but Kankura was gaping in wonder at the house. Tamari also gazed in awe at the residence, but hers was less idiotic than her brother's. She had known that with Naruto being the head of two clans, wealth was never a problem for him. Naruto smirked at their reactions and gestured with his hands. Well, shall we head inside? They all went inside the gates, and then this time Tamari couldn't conceal a gasp. The compound was even more beautiful, with a small square pond in front of the house. The house in question was quite big, easily big enough to be called a mansion, and the garden with its healthy grass and flowers seemed to be well cared for. Naruto led them all inside, further surprising Tamari and Kankuro. Gaara maintained his impassive look, but even he admitted to be impressed on the inside. The living room was very spacious, and while it looked very lavish, it still gave off a homey feel. The kitchen also looked newly furbished and was connected to the living room. Naruto walked into the center of the living room, right in front of the sofas in living room, and clapped twice for attention. Alright, listen up. The three siblings turned to him, frowning in confusion. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's my dog. Really now, buddy. Be a good dog. Alright, let's continue. Alright, listen up. The three Sand siblings turned to him, frowning in confusion. First order of business. I'm going to tell you where you're sleeping. He turned to Tamari, who looked a bit anxious. His look softened, and he said, Tamari, while we may know each other, he ignored Gaara's raised eyebrow and Kankuro's sputters. I doubt you want us to sleep together, so we're going to be sleeping in separate rooms. Wait, what about you and my sister? So, here are spoken facts. Naruto continued as if the guy hadn't even spoken. There are a total of 3 bedrooms upstairs. The master, which is mine, is at the end of the corridor. There are 2 guest bedrooms, one of which will be Tamari's, he turned to Gaara, and you two could either bunk together or Kankuro can have it. I don't sleep, Gaara stated. Naruto frowned but shrugged. Have it your way then. Guess you're lucky, doll boy. You get to sleep in a bed instead of a couch. Kankuro sputtered again as Naruto kept on talking. He turned to Gaara and said, Remind me to fix your seal one of these days. After everyone had been introduced to their rooms, Naruto called them down again and said, Alright, now that the accommodations have been set, here's the thing. Either you can train in the grounds behind the house, or you can roam around Konoha with one of my clones as a guide to show you the hot spots. Kankuro asked accusingly, Why a clone? Naruto turned his face towards him and raised an eyebrow. I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to spend the day with my fiancée, that is, if she's willing. He asked her, to which she gave a small nod and walked up to him, poking his chest. We need to have a talk. We don't mind, Naruto. We'll take your clone as a guide, Gaara said before Kankuro really started to grill Naruto. The talk his sister wanted to have sounded important. Just as he finished speaking, a clone popped up beside Naruto. Have fun, you two. And with that, Naruto grabbed Temari and disappeared. Naruto and Temari spent the rest of the day just roaming around, talking about general things or getting to know each other better. Or they went to a restaurant and had lunch or trained. The day passed very quickly for the both of them, and soon they found themselves sitting on the head of Naruto's father, overlooking the village. Naruto was leaning against a spike of hair, with Temari leaning into his right side, head rested on his shoulder, while Naruto had his arm wrapped around her shoulder. She rested her fan against another spike nearby, and both of them were enjoying the peace and quiet. I could get used to this, Temari murmured, shifting so she was closer than before. Naruto was more than happy to let her. Yeah, me too. Silence regained for a short while, which was then broken by Naruto. Temari, do you think this could work? Temari lifted her head from Naruto's shoulder to look him in the eyes. She knew exactly what he was talking about, whether this marriage or not could work. Could work or not. Sorry, guys, I can't read, man. I just can't. It's so difficult. It's like, she sighed. Naruto always seemed to go straight to the point, without beating around the bush. Not that she had a problem with that. To be honest, even I had a question on my mind ever since I was told about this. She told him, watching him nod in return. She began to blush as he spoke. I know that I like you. Spending time in your company, I had developed these feelings for you that I had never felt before towards anyone. I like you, but I'm unsure whether these feelings are enough to... She couldn't exactly find the words to express how she truly felt. Naruto just nodded. It's okay, I understand. Something like that is difficult to put into words. How about we talk about this another way? Tamari turned to him with a quizzical look. What do you mean? Naruto tilted his head so he was directly facing Tamari. She was very close to him. The physical contact they had at the moment would have made him blush any time, but the conversation was serious. You know, when I found out that we were supposed to be enemies, I just couldn't come to terms with that fact. My feelings were so strong for you that I almost couldn't make up my mind what would I do if I were to face you in a war. Tamari didn't say anything, just nodding to him to continue. But her eyes were a bit blurrier than before. Naruto forced any hesitance back. He needed to get this out of his system. My feelings for you and duty to the village were conflicted. If I chose you, then my village would kill me. The village that was entrusted to me by my parents. Abandoning it meant spitting on what they did to protect me. A single tear flowed from Tamari's right eye. What do you mean, entrusted to you? Naruto replied monotonously. Naruto's reply was monotonous. I'm the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. That reply almost made Tamari choke on her own spit. Naruto was the what? The Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi? How and when the hell did that happen? Then she remembered the conversation between her and Naruto before the invasion. Naruto had told her that the village had very few people that actually cared about him. No wonder Gaara held Naruto in such a high regard. They could almost be brothers in suffering. Then she remembered something. The Yondaime had seemingly been killed by the Kyuubi years ago, but seemingly killed the Kyuubi years ago. But masses of chakra can't be killed, and Naruto just revealed that the Kyuubi was inside of him, which meant... Oh my god, she breathed out. This was too much news to be dealt with at one time. To think the Yondaime sealed the Kyuubi inside his own son. To protect the village, he sacrificed his own family. Tears were freely flowing out by now. Naruto was sugarcoating it when he said that he was entrusted with the village. The Yondai Mei Hokage had sealed the fate of his own son by making him the Kyuubi's jailer. It was frightening how many similarities were popping up between Gaara and Naruto. Their father had sealed Shukaku in Nagara, trying to make him into a weapon. Naruto's father had done the same, except he had done so with the hope that Naruto would use the power to protect the village. Why? The word was whispered, but Tamari was openly crying by now. A look of concern came across Naruto's face as he pulled Tamari into his lap. He gently grabbed her face with his hand and brushed off the tears with his thumb, speaking in a slightly pleading tone. Please don't cry. I don't like it when you cry. Bro, this is kind of corny, but... like, not corny, but like... mad sweet, bro. I mean... alright, bro. Tamari held Naruto's hand with her own. What kind of father would condemn his son to such a life like that? Naruto smiled slightly and put his forehead against her. The kind that loved his village with all his heart. The kind whose morals refused to let him use someone else's child if he couldn't use his own. He gave a soft kiss to Tamari on her lips, feeling that I'm not going to do it. The kind that trusted his son above everyone else. Tamari gave a watery smile and shook her head. You're something else, Naruto. Naruto chuckled and continued. Anyway, we got off topic. As I was saying, if I chose you, then the village would kill me. If I chose you, I would never be able to live with myself with the knowledge that Konoha could, or worse, did kill you. And there was something I could have done about it, and I didn't. Tamari's face was unreadable, and just as Naruto was starting to feel that he had spoken something wrong. But you still chose me over the village. Why? Alright, bro. And this is where I'm going to end the video. We're not going to hear Naruto's reply. Not really a cliffhanger, but I'm getting a little cringed and corned out. So I'm just going to, like, end it here. Yeah, guys. I don't exactly know. Like, how do I usually... Damn. I got to, my brain is empty right now. I can't speak. How do I usually end these videos? Story link in the description, Discord, Instagram links in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, respond to all comments, heart all comments, like all comments, yada. If you're watching this video and you are not subscribed and you enjoyed the content and the video, please do subscribe. I implore you, I beg you, please subscribe. I want to hit at least 2,200 before my birthday. We've got a couple days left, so I'm really hoping that you guys subscribe. So, yeah. Without further ado, this is your boy, the Anime Ambu. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And without further ado, I'm out. Deuces.